Hello, my name is Nellie Greer, and we're here at Greer's Health and Wellness Center. And today's program is going to be focused on bacteria, toxins, sinus issues, digestive problems, and ganglion cysts. And we're going to focus as to what it is that you can do for these conditions. One of them that I want to cover first is, are you suffering from any of these conditions? Nasal, sinus infections, runny nose, nasal drip, stuffy nose, pounding headaches, wheezing, coughing, sore throat, need to clear your throat, upper respiratory infections, ongoing conditions. And addressing, you might address these conditions with over-the-counter prescription drugs, or maybe your doctor has prescribed a histamine and antihistamine and also decongestion. Well, most of these products and drugs can actually address and camouflage these conditions, but there is an underlying root issue that we need to deal with. And so the whole idea with this was to be able to give you an insight as to why it is that you're having these conditions ongoing, and having a little bit of remedy and then just have it come back. The idea is that we talked about pH factors, pH balance in the body, and we also talked about digestive health, which is actually probiotics and prebiotics and cultures and floras and bacterias, good culture bacterias. And we always addressed thinking that it was all digestive, that it was all in the stomach, but and all in the colon area. But now we're finding out that the bacteria settles in different parts of the body, giving you a condition. And if we have fungal nails, toenails, then that means that the fungus, the bad bacteria, is settled on your toes. If we have them on our fingernails, the fungus is growing there. Now, for those individuals that have sinus issues, that have ongoing headaches, that have nasal drip, where you have fungus in your throat and you have fungus in your, on the back of your throat. A lot of times people tend to buy these devices where you kind of brush your tongue and you try to get way back there. Well, you can't get back there in that area. So we need to do other things to be able to address so that it kills and it gets rid of that fungus that's living way back there. Excuse me. Now when we talk about sinus issues, that means that bacteria, mucus, it's all settled there. Toxins are all settled there. And do you know that 90% of the bacteria goes through your nose and it enters the body? So that means that we need to assist and take care of those issues so that we clear all that from just taking care of it once and for all, instead of just camouflaging it with different medications and over-the-counter prescriptions. Now, the other thing is that we talked about the digestive, and one of the things that we have found is that when a person starts taking probiotics, or if they take digestive balance, the digestive health, by addressing the internal bacteria, they find out that they clear the sinuses, that they clear the throat, that they clear all the mucus and all the nose drip, nasal drip, and they get rid of headaches. Now, you know, we talked, I had a lady that called me up, and she had said about how she had done cleanses and how she had done a product like what we have, and got no results. And I do want to stress that the idea with our digestive health is that it does have everything in it. It assists with many, many things. And death, like it's been said before many times, death begins in the colon. But also it starts from what we consume, from what we eat. And so if we are eating the good food, then what happens is as we eat, it tends to deal with and killing all the bacteria that's really back there on your throat. Now, one of the things that we suggest is that if a person has issues like that, tongue bacteria, in fact, we had a lady that wanted us to talk about that, and we address that with, you can use garlic and vinegar, and a lot of the things that we suggest for people to do is to use this healing tonic, that by taking it internal, what we do is we have them soak the tongue, we have them take it in and just hold it in their mouth for a little bit, 60 seconds in fact. And by doing that, what happens is you actually kill everything that's breeding there, and it saturates the tongue, it saturates the gums, it affects the teeth. So if there is any bacteria, cavities or whatever, it deals with that. But as you swallow it afterwards, it's warm, and because of the garlic, it kills all fungal and any infection, any bacteria that's hibernating back there. It tends, as you swallow it, it tends to stay somewhat in that location for future. If you don't eat right away, that means that stays there and it starts to kill away all the bacteria that is festing there. Now, now that's for tongue. That is also for sinus. It also helps with headaches. pH is important for folks that have fungus in their, on their tongue. We do suggest that neutralizer, you can brush your teeth, your tongue with neutralizer, you can gel, which is a 9.5 alkaline. There's 9.5 pH, and so it actually it helps in getting rid of acid levels on there. Also polyps. Some folks have polyps in their nose, and they tend to breathe through their mouth because they can't breathe through their nose. A very high acidic state, and if a person, in fact, I've had many people come in that way. I had a young girl that came in, and we talked about this, very high acidic levels, and so much so that she was in the higher 8 numbers in the pH, which means that now ammonia has set in on an acid condition. And so when that happens, clearly that is stated. pH, different things that happen in the body will, it's pretty much pH, and I know that it's overdone. I mean, we do talk about it again and again, but clearly you have to understand that if you're having a symptom, if you're having a condition ongoing, that is one of the first things that you have to tap into. It's one of the first things that you have to look into, because if you do the pH and the urine testing, you will find out that that's exactly where you're at. And in clearing that and bringing that pH into a better, maybe a number 7, 6, 5, wherever part you're in, if you're on the lower 5 or if you're in the high numbers, that means that either way, on both ends of the bar, they're both as bad, equally as bad. And so we need to go more towards that center mark, which is the 657.0 and 7.3. That would be ideal. And polyps are actually heavy metals, different toxins that are accumulated into this gel set mass, and it locates itself in different parts, and it's always on the worst part for you. Most of the conditions that people have are due to heredity. You know, so if your family has issues maybe with diabetes, then chances are if you don't watch what you do in your diet, then chances are that's where you'll be. But it's not that you'll be there. You can change as to what happens to you. I want to talk too about the spray, the anti-decongestion sprays, and that we spray in our noses and affect the little hairs in the nose, which actually help to clear off all anything that goes that you end up breathing. It sort of protects you from taking in all those toxins from nose. That's why a lot of time when you're affected by dust, you're always brushing your nose, or because you feel, or you have to blow your nose because those little hairs are affected, and they prevent you from taking in massive amounts of pollutants or dust or hairs or whatever. And so the idea is that if you have a condition, sinus, headaches, cough, dry throat, most of the medications, they claim that most of the medications, diuretics, blood pressure medication, Viagra, they say that all these different birth control pills, these are all prescription medications that actually give us dry mouth. It dries the membrane in our noses. And it gives us all these conditions that we later on have to deal with. So the idea is there are many ways better to help you to deal with this ongoing condition, maybe sinus, headaches, and pounding headaches, wheezing and coughing, and sore throats. A lot of the sore throats are due to the same thing. And a lot of people say, you know what, I don't have any problems drinking water. However, the reason why you're drinking water is because of the prescription medication that you're taking that's causing you to have dry mouth. So the idea is, if you want to change that condition, you want to put neutralizer in your water so that you're able, 10 drops in every glass of water, so you're able to address in creating a better pH. And by doing that, you will drink water, yes, but not so much to that condition where you're having the dry mouth and the sinus issues. I did want to talk about the fungus in the tongue, because for those individuals that have sleep apnea and they're using a machine, I do want to stress, or I can't stress enough, to be able to wash the machine twice a week. And if you have an ongoing infection, nasal or maybe tongue or mouth or throat, make sure to clean your machine more than that, because you're reinfecting yourself again and again. And this condition is brought on. People didn't have tongue fungus before, but they're having it now, and they're having more issues with nose because they're having this sleep apnea machine that they're using, and so they need to clean it in order to be able to, if they have colds, or if they have problems with flu or whatever, you need to do it more often, because if you're on medication to deal with that, then what happens is you'll reinfect yourself again and again. And so the idea is that you want to continue to do that with the vinegar. You want to use vinegar. Dave, what was the vinegar that you used?
White vinegar.
White vinegar. So you want to use white vinegar in cleaning your sleep apnea machine, because that way there you'll be able to not use chemicals, use more of a natural product to be able to kill the bacteria that's in the machine. Okay, that's number 2. Now, I wanted to talk about coughing. There is, you can do some honey. You can also use cinnamon. You can do apple cider vinegar also, and they say that mixture, but we have the healing tonic, so you wouldn't have to do that. But that does kill and helps you with any cough, and it just gets rid of all that sore throat and dry just the dry heaving cough that most people get when they get sick. And so this is a way of taking care of that. Okay, digestive health. It's got the bacteria in there that you need in order to balance the body. When you have fungus, wherever it is that's located, on your feet, on your tongue, on your stomach, if you are constipated, if you have the runs, guess what? That's because you've got bacteria that the digestive health is killing. So that means if you have a condition of constipation, you take the digestive, it'll bring you to balance. If you have diarrhea, guess what? You take the digestive health, it'll bring you to balance. It's an adaptogen. It'll go whichever way. But I had one lady that called me up and said to me, you know what, I took this the night before, and I took it the next day, and now I got the runs, and I can't stop going. You know what? That is a condition that once you take the digestive with all those good cultures, is going in there, and it is it's cleaning house. It's like going in surfacely, wherever, surfacely, killing all the bad bacteria and gaining they want to conquer. So that means that it starts multiplying, but it's taking ground, it's actually taking effect on the bad and killing it off. So killing it off is that now wants it out, the body wants it out, and the first effect is that you're going to get the runs. However, it will continue to do that until it cleans surfacely everything that's there. Now your body is ready to break down the food and deliver it to cell. Now you're going to stabilize. Now let's just say that you've been on it for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, now again, you get the runs again. You're on this program, 2 weeks into it, everything was good. Now again, you got the runs again. Guess what? The digestive health now is taking ground in other areas, seeping through all the different toxins from everywhere, the bad bacteria from all other crevices and all other parts. And guess what? It's actually dumped it again in the system. And what's the deal? The deal is that you have the diarrhea again, clearing it up again. The idea is more and more balance will happen. Once you start to understand the very thing that the body is doing, you'll understand and you'll embrace it, because those are considered healing crises. Now that's the digestive. And the digestive, the same way that it does it in the stomach, in the intestinal tract, in the colon area, and cleaning everything, it's the very same thing that it'll do here. Because when you take digestive, it actually, you swallow it, it's powder form, it's liquid. So that means when you put it in water, it activates and it goes in and it starts just cleaning everywhere. So that means that it's almost like the Pac-Man. It just goes in there and it starts just eating away all the candida, all the yeast, and all the bad bacteria, toxins, and triglycerides, all the bad fats and trans fats and all. So now the more and more those things will become less and less damaging in that. You're going to feel more healthy. You're going to eat less food. You're going to crave less of the wrong, and you're going to crave more water. And all of a sudden, there's going to be one day that you're going to go, wow, I was able to eat this. I didn't have the same reaction. So now I was intolerant to these types of foods. And now, guess what? I can consume that once in a while. Okay, digestive. Now, I'm going to talk about a product, something that that kind of happened to me. And I was working with it since October. From October to December, I ended up having a growth on my wrist, a ganglion cyst, they call it. Well, initially when I first saw it, my first reaction was, oh, you know, I was thinking it was the CANCER. That's what I thought. So I didn't want to put it out there. I just didn't even want to talk about it. So I started looking into what this was, and so in understanding what it was, it's actually a jelly mass cysts that actually will form on the wrist. Some people get it on the wrist, some people get it on their feet, next to the toes. It's always like in a joint area. And so on their ankles, you get it in different places. And so in checking it out, I wanted to address it with the very same things that I was doing, because I knew all the benefits and I knew that minerals are where in detoxifying, that's what we end up using. So I started implementing more and more of those things that I already knew. But it was more and more in my search was that I found there is an edible clay, and I started looking more and more into it. The clay carries an 8.5 pH, high minerals. It works on alkalizing the body. It also works on bone. It also works in picking up all toxins, heavy metals. It's amazing. It neutralizes. It helps you with calcium. It's got calcium. It's really high in a lot of nutrients, minerals. And so I started taking it, and I said to myself, this is October 23rd is when I realized I had it. And it was just a little, it was here on my wrist, and it was about, surfacely I could feel it. And I was just sitting there talking to my son when I noticed it. And all of a sudden, I said to myself, okay. I started working with it. I started using the clay. I started doing my Miracle 2 Gel 7X, which is 7 times strength. So everything that I was applying onto here was all the knowledge I knew as to what this was about. And the more and more every day, I kept working with it, and I continued to take the clay. I started by doing 1-1, 3 times a day. Then it was 2-2. After 2 weeks, I did 2-2-2. And then after about the 3rd to 4th week, I did 3-3-3. And it was amazing. But I always kept saying to myself, this is not going to stay here long. This is going to leave. But I'll tell you that on December 31st, I ended up getting up that day, and only to feel, to touch my hand, my wrist, and I realized it wasn't there any longer. So I do want to say that for anyone that has a ganglion cyst, either on the wrist, on the feet, some people get it on their heads and on the ankles, I want to tell you that there is something that will remedy that. And but it is something that you need to continue, because the acidity of the body is too acidic. And sometimes I'll tell you that you can do many, many good things, but I'll say that it takes more, because we're living in a world today that we're void of everything. And that's not just a cliche. It truly is. And we get nothing from our foods anymore, and that is where supplementation comes in. When they tell you back in the 50s, they said, oh, supplement, the doctors would say, don't need that. It is really necessary today. It's not just a choice. It really is important. You need to supplement your diet, because if you don't, the food alone will not do it. And you will come up with all these different things that will surface. And I will tell you, when this happened to me, I decided that I didn't want to. I had seen too many of these things on TV, and I didn't want to have a growth here and a growth here and a growth on my foot. I wanted to make sure to target this right off the bat. And that is what I usually try to stress to everyone that walks in our door, is if you have a condition, learn, take material, read everything you can, search it out, become your own doctor. It's happening to you. You know best. You can make choices, and you can pinpoint on the very things that you want to do and address. The clay is edible. It's wonderful. It's when you talk about people eating dirt, I know that back in the farm, people would say, you know, that the kids would be out there playing and they would eat dirt. And my husband said that a lot of times too when he was younger, that he would do that, and it was okay then. Today is not good. But there are things that we can do still to be able to balance the body and bring the balance back so that we can fight off whatever it is that the body is housing and get rid of it and tap into it right away so that it doesn't take ground and root in and throwing you off and maybe causing a worse condition than you have today. But I did want to neutralizer for the tongue fungus, neutralizer for the fungus on the toenails, fingernails. The girls that are doing false, nails are having problems that way, and when they decide to take them completely off, they end up with really addressing really a fungal issue. So that is one way that you can do it. Also, I wanted to talk again about, I had a lady that came in, and I want to talk about this because I want people to understand that hydrogen peroxide, please do not use it to kill bacteria on your body, in a bath, in a cloth, directly. You don't want to do that. I had a lady that came in and she was using hydrogen peroxide to kill infection on the hand because she wanted to clean bacteria from her hands and skin and back and feet, and I think she was putting it in her bath water. Her skin was all dry, real thin. I just want to stress that there are ways better to use natural ingredient products that will assist you with that in cleaning bacteria and bringing the body to balance. And so while she was here, I ended up putting neutralizer on her. I put neutralizer on her again. Her nails were very thin due to the fact that she was using so much of the peroxide to kill fungal infection because she had eczema. So while she was here and visiting, I continued to put neutralizer on her hands, on her fingernails. And while she was there, things were starting to look better and better, and then I did some lotion. So I want to stress that there are many ways that you can use natural products like neutralizer. Neutralizer will kill just about anything. It's an emergency in a little bottle. And that is one way. Skin with fungal, with anything that you might have, just want to know that by using the soap, then using the neutralizer, and then using whatever it is, other lotion that you might have on your skin, try to do that every time you bathe because it actually keeps the skin at a pH of 5.5, which is excellent. That's what your skin pH balance is. So the more and more your skin is at a pH of 5.5, guess what? The healing will continue to happen as you do that. So we covered the fungus in the tongue, toenails, fingernails, polyps in the nose. I want to tell you that I did have a lady that came in with that condition, polyps in the nose, and one of the things we did was we had her do neutralizer to do a Q-tip, and then she would wet the Q-tip with neutralizer, the neutralizer gel, and then she would circle it around the nose, and it was that continued to, she did it ongoing, day to day, morning, afternoon, and night, and then also at nighttime, and never allowed the nose to dry, and she today is fine. She doesn't have that anymore. So these are all things that you can do. And also, what's the other, want to tap in a little bit on the limu. Now, I ended up, had a call from a lady that said to me that she had to stop the limu because she said there was too much sugar in the limu, and they had broken the skin broke out. She broke out a bit, and she said she ended up stopping the limu. Well, you know what? The thing with limu is that limu, the things that are in limu are actually all ocean-based. Limu is actually a juice that is, everything in there is from ocean. So the pH is the same as our intracellular should be, and that is what the waters, the ocean waters, pH is. So all the ingredients, all the substance that is in limu is in the ocean waters. That is the closest to our intracellular. Now, the only thing that is in limu that they end up putting in there to make it taste good, it's pear juice. It's there's berry and apple and grape, and you know those juices, there's actually only 2 grams of sugar in limu. That's it. And it's all because they want to make it so that it tastes good, because otherwise it would taste too kind of like maybe mineral kind of tasting, because the product that's in it is fructosidin, which is the plant that's in the ocean waters that is the highest in antioxidant. But one of the things that was happening, and I did say this, but I'm going to readdress this to her, is that a lot of times when you take limu, you'll go through a period of just taking half an ounce in the morning and half an ounce in the afternoon. And that's like the preparation. And we always tell folks, you know, take small amounts, because small amounts will help you to detox, but will do more healing, and it won't jumpstart the system so much that you'll detox so quickly that you'll right away stop. Well, the whole idea now, they're taking 1 ounce in the morning, 1 ounce in the afternoon, and clearly they detox too much. Liver, you know, pear juice is for liver. So when you start implementing more of the juice, 1 ounce in the morning and 1 ounce in the afternoon, you're detoxifying more. Well, certainly you're going to break out. However, it isn't from the sugar. It's from what's internalized in the body, that all the toxins, the body's using the skin as the largest organ in the body to detoxify what's internal. Those are healing crises. And you know, I think some folks really clearly need to understand that I would rather have something surface to let me know exactly what's going on internal, instead of not getting any results. This is a way of you realizing exactly what it is that's going on internal. Detoxification. We detoxify through liver, lungs, through skin, through, anyway, it's bulls, B-U-L-L-S, and that's bladder, urinary, liver, lungs, and skin. So skin being the largest organ in the body, and the body uses those ways of detoxifying. So when the body uses the skin, it's because there's too much internal and it needs it to go out. So much so, limu is so safe in sugar. It's only less than 2 grams of sugar. That means that a diabetic person can actually take it and fear not that they're going to have any blood sugar issues, because it doesn't have the higher amounts of sugar. It is the safest. In fact, of all the drinks that are out there in the market today, between pomegranate, between noni, goji, and all these different drinks, limu is safe. It's the safest of all. And it's very healing because it's high in minerals. Always understand that any time that your body is ill on any different condition, realize that it's minerals that you need to consume. And I would say that anyone that comes in with any condition, the very first things that I suggest is to take either limu or take minerals in a liquid form. And that's one way of being able to address. And people usually say, you know what, wow, that's awesome. Minerals help to alkalize the body. It's the same thing as when you eat a salad. It's the same feeling that you get when you take a green drink to clean the system out of all the acid levels. And so anyway, I just wanted to stress that limu is, of all the drinks out there, it's the safest. It's actually, I have to admit that if I had to say which one I would suggest people to take, I would say that lemon would be the number one. All the other antioxidant drinks are good, except that there's so much sugar in them. If a fruit like the acai berry, for instance, the acai berry drink is awesome. However, when you go and do it in a juice, you have to drown it with sugar. And if you are dealing with a condition like cancer, let's say, where you have to restrict your diet of sugar, guess what? Even though that's really good for you, guess what? There's too much sugar in there. You can't consume it. We have it in a capsule form, so it bypasses the sugar, and you get all the benefits of the antioxidants to deal with whatever it is that you're working with without the sugar. So there are things that we carry that are in a capsule form because of that. If it's an antioxidant, that's a fruit. We also have drinks that, juices that we carry as well. And there's just a lot of things that there is a reason why we have them in that format and why we choose to go that way, so that you get better results and without having, because a lot of people will say, you know what, I'm doing all the right things, so why is it that I'm not getting better? And that's exactly the reason. And I hear that over and over again. And sometimes all it is to tweak this and tweak that. And that's why I suggest for folks, when I get calls, is for anyone that wants to come in and maybe bring their items that they're doing now, that we can look at it, and then we can, we can tend to look at the things that they're doing. And it's not like they're, that I'm going to say no to everything. I'm just going to suggest that why it is that they're not getting results. And by just eliminating, or maybe by adding more of certain things, it actually will take care of that. We also, the consultations, the consultations are $25 for the consultations. And the reason why is because we do spend time with you, and it takes us away from other things. And so, and sometimes, we always think that it's going to be a certain time frame, and only to find out that we spend more and more time. And so it cuts into the rest of the day. And so for anyone that would like to visit and bring their items that they're doing now, and maybe get a little feedback as to what it is that they need to implement, you can call us, and we can work with that. I wanted to talk too about the iodine for the thyroid. And we do have literature on the iodine that we have in a liquid form. We're getting super results with that. A lot of people are finding out that they did have a thyroid deficiency, and that they weren't taking salt. Now they are taking the iodine, only to find out that pain levels are reduced. They got more energy, they're sleeping better, anxiety levels are reduced, and they're feeling like they're sleeping better. It's amazing. It's just amazing. The electrical frequency in the body, it's brought to balance, and when that's off, it just throws everything off. And so, so now we've got the digestive health, that we're working with the good bacterias, we're working with the good cultures, we're bringing in the good proteins, we're also bringing the good floras. It is also there's lignans in the digestive health, which balances your sugars, your cholesterol, it balances your hormones, it's anti-cancer, anti-prostate, anti-tumoral cysts. These are all the things that it covers. It's good fiber, it helps you to eliminate, it keeps you balanced. And so there are so many things in the digestive that it really works in so many different things in the body that, and you wonder, it's like the perfect food. And before long, you're going to find out that losing weight is not going to be a battle. I had a gentleman that came in, and he said he lost 25 pounds, and within, I think, 6 weeks or 7 weeks, and his daughter came in, and you know, so these are the things that happen when people just implement just 1 scoop of this a day. It is like, and the kids, we have children that the parents come in for themselves, and all of a sudden they ask about the kids, whether or not the kids can do it. All of a sudden they sprinkle some in the kids' cereal, or they give it to them in a little water. Their stomach issues subside. They don't have this anxiety, this nervousness. They don't have the runs. They don't have the constipation. A lot of the kids, we have 3-year-olds that have constipation. And now with this, just sprinkling this on the kids' cereal or maybe juice, they're drinking it and finding out that they don't have all these stomach cramps and stomach issues. They're eliminating good, they're becoming regular, and they're feeling better. So this is for everyone. For elderly, this is for people that are healthy, but they have this underlining not feeling too good at certain times. This is actually a product that is for everyone, and it's usually, I would say, if you are used to doing a protein drink, this is something that you can implement and do your protein drink extra. You know, you can mix it all together and just have that as your protein drink. However, don't really need it because the protein is already in there, and in consuming 1 scoop, it's a done deal. These things that we talk about are going to take care of sinus issues, because the bacteria, the good cultures that you're taking with the prebiotics, probiotics, enzymes, cultures, bacterias, and floras, they're all going to balance this whole feeling of heaviness on your face. You're not going to have any more drippy nose, discharges, no more pounding headaches. You're not going to have this endless sneezing, no more post-nasal drip, mucus buildup. You're not going to have any more nasal congestion, no upper jaw pain. You're not going to have any more of this general fatigueness and wheezing, and no more facial pain. That's just one part that we didn't discuss in the programs before. This is generally something else that we're finding out that it's helping with all these different areas. And any fungus that you have in any part of your body, be it on the toenails, nails, fingernails, or on the skin, having eczema or psoriasis, this is going to remedy that. The isol is one thing that, when you think about salt, which actually, if you have a sore throat years ago, you would gargle with salt and it would kill the germs. Well, guess what? The iodine will actually do that, and by taking it, it will start to balance the system with all the electrical frequency and charging and working with the metabolism, because one of the things that the iodine does is it actually charges and it puts spark back in the metabolism to work better, but it also works on the adrenals, and then of course all the other things that when the thyroid is working good, what happens is it helps in the production of hormones and balancing the hormones. And so you feel better, you sleep better, you don't have the cravings. And another thing, you don't get cravings for salty things, because guess what? When you take the isol, what it does is you get the nutrients that you would get from salt, and it's what your body is craving. It's the salt nutrients. But the body only knows that it's from salt, but now you're giving the nutrients directly without going to the salt. If you're taking medication and your doctor saying no salt, you know, try to do without, well, chances are you can still get the nutrients that you need from the salt and yet not do the salt. However, you're going to find out that the cravings for salty things, for chips and all that, won't be there because you're already getting it from the isol. And that's one of the things that your body will always tell you what it needs to balance out. It's kind of like if the pH is wrong, you'll end up with arthritis because the body will draw the calcium from the bone from the joints, bone, because it's trying to keep itself balanced from all the acid, so that the acid doesn't damage all the other tissue, all the other organs. So the idea is these are all things that in understanding and addressing, you'll end up in a healthier state, in a healthier body, feeling better, making better choices, and power. Knowledge is power. And once you embrace and you address the very things that you need, and everything will be easier. Things will be easier. You won't be into so many pharmaceutical over-the-counter things, because there are things that you can remedy, things in your kitchen, as easy as honey, as easy as cinnamon, as easy as garlic and onions, and those are all things that we have in our healing tonic that helps you to fight off all these different things. And so anyway, we talked about iodine, we talked about the edible clay, we talked about the neutralizer water that we drink, the neutralizer gel. We talked about the digestive. We also talked about, didn't talk about the baths too much, but the idea is that you do want to bathe with the soap and the neutralizer, because you want to be able to clean the body. As the body sweats, it sits all on the skin. You want to cleanse that so that the skin continues to heal. It takes how was it? I read this. It says that it takes the body 28 days for the skin, for any skin condition to resurface to good again. And it takes 7 years for bones. Like if you have a broken bone, or they usually say to build up the bones, it takes 7 years. So that means that that is just the process of what the body kind of goes through. And so anyway, for anyone that would like further information on the topics that we talked about, and I wanted to backtrack. I did want to talk about the final thing was on limu. I wanted to make sure to stress that the limu is like a perfect drink, nothing better than that. Less than 2 grams of sugar. And if you don't believe me, go to your kitchen and check as to the drinks that you have, antioxidant drinks of either noni or mangosteen or pomegranate, and see what I mean. This limu has less than 2 grams of sugar. It's the lowest. And so for anyone that would like more information on these products, you can call us at 651-486-0525, and you can log in to greershealth.com. We got another item, the colostrum, goat's colostrum. Colostrum is actually a product that it's pre-milk. It's a pre-milk substance. It is what mothers pass on to their children when they're born. 6 to 8 hours after birth, the babies are given this milky substance. It's yellow. It's kind of yellow, and so the mothers pass. This is the first food that the baby receives, and this is what helps the baby to be able to face the world and to fight all disease and germs. And more than none, the one thing, the kids that are the strongest are the kids that have been breastfed. For kids that have not been breastfed, they have to deal with the world with whatever is given in formula, and in building that up. And so by giving the kids this colostrum, it actually helps the baby to fight off all these different illnesses and disease. Well, now, guess what? We get colostrum from goats. The goats have not been exposed to any toxins, any herbicides. They have not been injected with steroids or hormones. And so you're getting a pure product and an organic product. And so when you take it, and normally folks that would do well with this, all of us would do well with this, but the people that when they come in and they have a lot of things that they're trying to heal, and but their immune system is not too good, and they've been dealing with an ongoing condition without no help. By doing the colostrum, it actually works with the immune system so that the immune system then can fight off this and eventually dealing with it, and then turning the immune system back on again to being able to deal with this. Most of the time what we say is you mega dose in the beginning, and then later on what you do is you just do maintenance. But there's like weeks, you go so many weeks with the mega dose and then you downsize it. And so this is a good product for anyone that has any condition, ongoing skin, or for if your immune system, you've kidney, for kidney infections that are ongoing, for disorders, gallbladder issues, if you don't want to go through surgery. There's just a lot of different things. Diabetics do really good with this, and or any condition, any skin condition or any disorder that you might have, this really works awesome. I mean, you can see it on the skin, you can see it on the hair, you can see it on the nails, and those are 3 areas where when a person comes in, we check those things, because skin really tells you a lot, nails tell you a lot, and the condition of your hair tells you a lot. And so when a person starts with our program, they come in the very first time. When I see them again after they've been on a regimen of a month, let's say, of different things, they come back. Clearly they look like a different person, and they usually say, I feel really good. And that is, colostrum is really a good product. And a lot of people that are on it, they swear by it, they stay on it. Even on the maintenance, a lot of times they say they don't want to go off of it because they see it's an anti-aging product. And for anybody that wants to prevent wrinkles from occurring, it's a good form of, it's an it works everywhere. I mean, it tightens skin. And, but anyway, colostrum is very good. We have that, and actually in the beginning, you use up the first bottle quickly because you're mega dosing, but then after that, you have 1 bottle will last you, I think, for like 2 months. So, okay, secondary, the Himalaya salt. The Himalaya salt is actually a salt that it's pink in color. And what it is it enhances food. It actually enhances the food. It's pink in color, and it has 70. Let me see where. Yeah, it's 74 ionic minerals. You know what? If you look at the salt activity in magnifying glass, the activity is so all over the place. And table salt, and there's other salts that are pretty stable. There's no activity going on. When you see the Himalaya salt, it's the activity level is like so all over. In fact, I remember when we first started to use the Himalaya salt, I had done a meal, and my son had said that, Mom, what did you put on the food? And I said, nothing. And he said, it tastes really good. But one of the things he found out was that he ended up, you know, it worked in eliminating the system because of the activity that goes on with the salt. Don't need very much salt, get very much minerals out of it. Can do it for your bath. It'll soften the skin. You can do a facial with it. Also, you know, we do facial cleanses with the Himalaya salt and also with the neutralizer gel. It smooths out the skin just lovely. And the minerals are taken in the skin, and it cleans the pores really nice. But in food, you need a little bit. It makes your food taste wonderful, and you can gargle with it. You can brush your teeth with it if you like. There's many ways that are very beneficial to use the Himalaya salt, and it lasts forever.